it's loading. Come on, oh, there we go. Okay, it's saying we're live. Hello and welcome to Large Format Live. This is a little bit different than the pre-recorded large format Friday segments. For one thing, it's not Sunday. It's not Friday. It's Sunday, and we're here at a familiar location. If you've been watching some of the more recent videos, namely the Cyanotype video that we just uploaded a couple weeks ago, and you might see some familiar things because we're going to be doing the same thing today. So we're here at 400 West Rich here in downtown Columbus, Ohio. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I would otherwise be printing with the sun, but I'm in here with you guys and moderating the chat and all that fun stuff. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me and everything's looking okay. While we're getting set up and everything, I want to kind of give you a brief tour of how today's live stream is going to go. Don't worry, you're not just going to be looking at me sitting and watching the screen and monitoring prints the whole time. We are also going to be seeing some stuff in the darkroom. So let's head in that way. And all right, we're here in the darkroom now, and I have some stuff set up here so I can address the camera, and of course I can move the camera down. And we're making prints today. We're back doing some Cyanotype, but it's going to be, well, hopefully a little bit more interactive than it was in the previous video. Some magic of television stuff. So, I have pre-coated some sheets of Cyanotype paper, and these are, I don't know, like slightly larger than 4x5-ish sheets. I got those lovely deckled edges and stuff going on with them. And there's going to be a special purpose for these, but let's head back out, talk to the chat a little bit, and we'll get going on some prints. Oh, man. All right. When you're doing something like this, guys, probably the most important component you can have is cable management. There are so many cables running through this. It kind of looks like grandma's Christmas tree with like one outlet that has 8 different lines bridging into it. No sparks are flying, so fingers crossed that it all goes on without a hitch. Hey, all right, so we got Dominic. Hey, Rick, CM. Oh, wow, Sweden. We have Sweden in the chat. We got Belgium in the chat. Live prints. All right, sweet. Greece, South Africa. This has got to be one of the most diverse photography audiences I have seen on any sort of stream. So that's awesome. We're at 60 people live. This is crazy. Okay, cool. So, while everybody's here and we're established, I wanted to make an announcement about the channel. And I wanted to do it during the live stream because the live stream for me is all about giving back to you guys. A really loyal subscriber base. It's been pretty amazing this past little bit over a year, jumping back into the channel, rejuvenating things, and seeing all these folks out there worldwide that support it and are into analog photography, traditional process, whatever you want to call it, and big old sheets of expensive films. So it's so cool to see. Since the last time we did a live stream, which was all the way back in December now, we've increased our subscriber rate over 50%. And I was due for a large format live. I'd been promising it and I didn't want to hold it off any longer. But on top of that, I have something else kind of cool to announce to the channel. I've been getting requests for different ways to contribute to the show, to keep showing support for the show for well over the last year. And that stuff was just so far over my head. And I'd like, there's nobody that like manages the channel. I'm the cameraman, I'm tech, I'm script writing. It's very much a one-man band in every sense of the word. So starting today to kind of help with things on the channel, because you guys have been asking for a Patreon or something like a Patreon, I'm rolling out something new today, and that is LFF memberships. So these memberships are hosted very similar to what you would see on a Patreon. By the way, this is on my website. So if you go to marrash.com/memberships, this is live right now. So when you go on the memberships page, there are different, I guess you can call them tiers or donation amounts that you can become a sustaining member with. Starting at $1. So if you just want to like toss in your support for the channel, or if you already have been doing that, you can kind of do it with some frequency, like some consistent frequency for me at the channel. or if you just kind of like to set it and forget it, you don't want to have to hit that donate thing every single time, I have that set up for you guys. So I know it's just like a boring white page, so I'll go back to me talking to the camera. So there's the $1 level, and then kind of like with Patreon, different tiers and rewards and I guess perks for that. At the $5 level, you're getting handwritten thank you notes. And because I wanted this to be a special rollout, today's handwritten thank you notes, anybody that becomes a sustaining member today during the channel is going to get one of the cyanotypes that I am making here live. Now, if you are an international subscriber, we are going to have to talk shipping at some point. But if you are in North America or anywhere, I can send a normal postcard. I'm trying to make these exactly postcard size, so that's going to be absolutely free to you. So if you do the $5 a month, you're going to get that cyanotype I make today. If you're an international subscriber, international postcard postage I think is like $1 more. So if you pinky promise that you're going to stay a sustaining member for at least 1 month more, you're going to be getting that card as well. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of give some extra stuff back to you guys. Even though you've been asking for ways to give to the show, I want to keep giving back. And what better way than making prints? I love making prints. And I've had talks with photographers about how they manage their YouTube channels and what their ratio of shooting to actually just like being in front of the camera is. And one of the things I don't want this to become is something where I don't do what I love in photography less. I want to do it the same amount, if not more. And one of my favorite things to do that I've been really guilty of not doing over the last few years is making prints. So this is just another way of doing that. Now back to the memberships page. There is another perk or tier within those. That is the $10 a month subscriber. Now, one other thing about LFF is access to everything in the channel is still completely free. These little extra perks are just on top of, they're totally optional. And the $10 perk, I wanted to keep the same mentality where I treat this kind of like the public broadcasting service or PBS, where all the information is out there free. Really, the $5 and $10 different levels or memberships are going to be just kind of greasing the wheels of that information. So at the $10 level, there's another cool thing that's happening where you're going to get priority access to Q&A. So if you have a just burning question and you need to know it same day, if you shoot me an email and you're on that sub list, you're going to get same day answers guaranteed. So just another little way of me giving back and trying to, give a little extra thanks to someone that's sustaining the channel and still giving all this free content out there for you guys. Oh my gosh, I just like looked back and there's 73 of you out there. This is awesome. All right, let me see if I have any questions. Let's see, familiar names. Cool. I see Imran, that's familiar name. I see Lauren there, fantastic. All right. Oh, I got Carrie in there. Hey, Carrie. All right. Stu Bachelor. Oh my God, Stu, it has been forever, man. How are you? Oh, wow. Okay. David. Hey, how's it going, man? All right. T-Paul, good seeing you. All right. Andre. Oh, perfect. Man, there's so many good names in here. Olav, California. Oh man, we got France, DC, Germany. This is so cool. I just love the support. Okay. Let's get to the prints. So yeah, just gonna jump this over one time. So if you're just joining in, I've added, due to popular requests on the channel, memberships, but memberships aren't the only thing. So if being a member is not the thing that you would like to do, and you just want to donate kind of on your own terms, another thing that I have added to the Marrash.com website is just a blanket donation. And there's a QR code to make it really easy. That QR code you can get set up to do a single donation, like a one-time, or you can set up for recurring payments if you want to as well. And I have been getting requests with folks that want to send stuff to the channel, which like still blows my mind. We've opened up a PO box for the channel. So that's LFF donations, PO box 448. I'm trying to read it backwards. PO Box 44684, and that's Columbus, Ohio 43204, USA. So that's just new stuff that I actually silently rolled it out last week and threw it in the description. So you sly folks that read all the way through there, got your first access. And if you were somebody that had joined on the memberships prior to today's live stream, you are getting the cyanotypes that I'm doing today, and anybody that signs up during the live stream. If you're catching this after the fact, I really appreciate you for tuning in, and you're still going to get a really nice handwritten thank you. It's more than likely going to be on an inkjet print or a silver print, because I'd probably go broke doing cyanotypes all the time like that. But anyway, let's get to the prints. I'm going to give some more love to the chat. 84 folks. Oh my gosh, we're going for a record today, guys. This is amazing. Let's see who else we got here. Wow. Steven, I got Pete Brackenberry. Okay. Oh, Pete's got a question. Cobbling a printing system together out of an old Cambo. I have some old parts and enlargers. I have one stock 135 in my Cambo. Will it work to print? Typically 135 lenses are going to be long enough to do 4x5, so that should be okay. Carrie, question about doing the customs. I'm not sure. I have been dinged with it once before with something from Mexico and also something from Canada. Basically, if it comes via UPS, they put your arm behind your back and make you pay a huge fee. USPS, I think it's a lot smaller and pretty easy to manage. Cool. All right. Iceland, Liverpool, UK. Oh my goodness, I just love seeing so many places represented. All right, anyway, we got to get to these prints because prints take forever with this setup. So let's just jump back into the darkroom here. All right. Even though it feels like I've traveled far, it's probably like 6 feet. It's not that far at all. So I'm going to aim the camera down to the trays here. Hopefully we can see that going on. I want to lock it down, make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So I've got my tray and I've got my little piece of paper. So I'm not using the same paper I used last time. I was using, in the original Cyanotype video, I was using Fabriano Artistico. And this time around, I found some old Strathmore. More than likely, this is not mine. This is my fiance, Lauren's, but she's going to be okay with it once she sees what negatives we're printing from today. So these are kind of pre-torn with the channel favorite, the Decal Edge ruler, which is this kind of, actually, I think I've got it over here somewhere. Decal Edge, where are you? Oh yeah, here we go. So today I'm starting with a master sheet of watercolor paper. Most watercolor papers will come in like 11 by 15 and 22 by 30. Kind of an odd size if you're a film photographer, but for watercolor, that's just kind of what they go with. This started, oh no, I'm sorry, this isn't Strathmore. This is Arch's Aquarelle. This is definitely Laura's paper and not mine, but it should print pretty well. It's got a bit of a tooth to it, so it's got a little bit more texture, even though it's a hot press. And I'm tearing this paper. The way I'm creating these edges on here, my focus, don't leave me now, focus. The way it's creating this kind of dirty edge, this is a natural deckled edge from the paper mold, so the molding process on there. But these other edges, which are still kind of dirty, those are created using this handy little ruler. It's probably the greatest thing that I haven't paid for in the history of the channel so far. And it's just got these hard edges on here, and you can just tear the paper. Another way to do it if you didn't have this is you take a little eyedropper with some water, some warm water, you drip that along there, and once the paper's wet or kind of soft, you tear it away. Having a ruler helps, and this one's just nice because you can just grip it and rip it, which is kind of cool. So I've already pre-torn some stuff. We're going to get coating. I don't even know if I'm going to double coat these or not, so we'll see how that goes. I have my big foam brush. This is kind of obnoxiously large for the prints that we're making today. And this guy is a 3-inch, so yeah, way too big. It's just soaking in water here. You can see it's got a little bit of that color from the sensitizer in there. Again, we're doing cyanotype, which is a part A and part B process with sensitizers. Those different parts are ferric ammonium citrate and potassium ferrocyanide. They sound nastier than they are. And Olaf, if you're watching, I recall your question about, like the nastiness of the chemicals. Truth be told, all of the stuff in Cyanotype is way easier going and water soluble for flushing out with water than most anything else in normal silver gelatin printing. And since there's no fixer in this process, way less hazardous. since it's non-silver, there's no heavy metals in the process. Everything kind of goes to like iron in there. So you might get some kind of like rusting going through pipes, but it's not too bad. This stuff is non-damaging enough that I flushed it down my septic a couple times. Sorry about that, Laura, and it's been fine. Anyway, soaking in water to keep the brush wet. Oh wait, I've always wanted to do this, guys. I apologize. I'm gonna brush it off. I'm gonna beat the devil out of it. There we go. All right, so I've got my sheet of paper. There's usually always one side that's a little bit softer than another. This one, softer on this side. And I have some sensitizer that's already pre-measured out, I guess pre-mixed. So I usually do the mix where it's equal parts A, equal parts B. I got a little dropper in here just because I don't need the whole darn thing. And about a dropper full, which ends up being like 2 mils. It's gonna go fine on here. And I'm just gonna start brushing. And we're just making some circles, left, right, up, down. And it's okay if it doesn't quite spread as far as you want it to at first, because as you keep spreading, it's gonna keep widening its reach on there. I'm only going to code a few for the channel here, and then don't worry, guys. If you're asking questions in the chat, I will do my best to get to those once I'm back out in front of the computer. I don't have anything else. I don't have anything in here that I can monitor the chat with. This is about as sophisticated as I've ever done on a stream. If you are squeamish around the chemicals, you can wear some gloves. They'll usually help. I find when I'm doing like Van Dyke and Cyanotype, my fingers dry out more than anything else because there's a lot of wet and dry and long soaking periods. So having gloves on for that will really, really help. All right, and you want to have like a gentle touch, like just barely touching. So just let the weight of the brush kind of do it. And what's going to happen, we're starting to get some puddles, and you don't want those puddles to stay there for, I guess I could coat it like this. There we go. We're just gently pushing those puddles. Just like that. And you know, this is a pretty forgiving UV process because you need tons of ultraviolet light to expose this sensitizer on here. So, you know, there's an open door like right here and some lighting and some other lighting here. It's not too bad. You have a lot of working time before it gets really, really super sensitive to light. And even then, you need a lot of UV to make that exposure happen. It's been a while since I brushed to the left. Okay, I'm gonna bring this back down, finish out this sheet, and we'll take some Q&A, and I'll actually do my first test exposure while we're working on that, and I'll reveal for the new members what negative we're printing from today. I don't think it's one that you guys can predict. Maybe. Drop your guess in the comments. All right. There we go. That's gonna be good. Drop it back in the water. I'm going to take my sensitizer over to a darker area along with my paper here. Don't worry, I do have a hairdryer for drying this, but I am not going to I'm not going to blare that hairdryer. That would be really, really, really too annoying. So I have a pre-coated sheet. Come on, focus. There we go. Pre-coated sheet. We're going to take it out there. I'm going to flip it down, and yeah, we'll do some questions and talk the negative. All right. So how are we looking here? All right. Oh my gosh, 78 folks. This is crazy how many folks we got in the chat. Imran, I love that kind of, you know, act now, and we could also put, I love it. That's, yeah, 2K would be like mind-blowing at this point. Yes, Dominic, that's really my goal. If I can be compared to anybody on planet Earth, especially with my love for public television, Bob Ross, that's got to be it. I mean, I could go for like a little bit of Bill Nye too, but I'm not going to get cocky. This is great. All right. Along with, yes, I don't think I could handle a perm. This hair doesn't handle being dyed very well, nor does it handle like hardcore chemical process. This is just like a spray glue. It's pretty easy going. Oh, okay. Fluxurium, what kind of surface is best for silver gelatin printing? Typically with silver gelatin, you want a very, very, very smooth surface. Watercolor papers can be treated and built up using a gelatin sizing. So sizing is when you just kind of, you fill in those pits and valleys of the grains of the paper or the pulp of the paper with something to kind of flatten it out. So think of it like, really think of it like leveling and sanding. So if you have a wavy surface, you're not going to get that kind of even sheen. And silver gelatin is all about the reflected light coming back off the print. Many times alternative process prints like Cyanotype that we're doing today is like a very, very matte finish print. Those chunkier little grains in the paper are kind of holding on to that light. And you are getting some reflected light back, but it eats a lot of that. So it needs a lot more light. Silver gelatin prints give back a ton of light, usually because on fiber paper, the barium sulfate coating. And that barium sulfate or baryta coating is giving you a ton of light back. And depending on the thickness of that paper, you're going to get different kind of Dmax out of it. So Dmax is that total range of densities from light to dark that you're getting. Oh, cool. So I have Laura handling some chat mod stuff. So she says, question from Rick. Finally found the studio camera I was looking for. Has a great early Voigtlander 420 Heliar. Hold on. That needs cleaning. How do you find a qualified craftsman these days? Cleaning vintage Heliars. You know, they're pretty simplistic lenses, but you got to be really careful taking it apart, making sure you're not damaging any of the little retaining pieces or rings that are in there. There is a mom and pop repair facility that the camera store I work for, Midwest Photo, has been sending stuff to for years now, and that is Pro Camera in Virginia. I think it's Virginia or West Virginia, but Pro Camera, not to be confused with ProCam, the camera dealer, but Pro Camera has fantastic service and pretty decent turnaround times. All right. Hey, we got Dev from Restore from Backup in the chat. Pretty cool. Peter, I will do my best to go over the PyroCat HD. That's a super long and involved thing. Oh, actually, before I start tackling any more questions, I want to show you guys the negative that we're printing from today. So this was stuff that I shot back before Christmas time, and I was like, what could fit on something that's 4x5-ish sized that is, you know, has global appeal? Well, found these negatives here of Mr. Strudel when we shot him in the studio, and Strudel's going to print very, very nicely. So the thank yous today are going to include a little headshot of Mr. Strudel. So we're going to go ahead and take that out. Oh, I think I have to clean my... Oh my goodness. There's so many cool folks in the chat. 84 people. 87. It's climbing. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I have to clean some glass, so I have to get some paper towels real quick. Where's the paper towels? Ah, there we go. I'm doing some pretty non-standard stuff today as far as cleaning my glass. Where are my glass sheets? Are they over here? All right, that's my backing sheet. Where's my glass sheet? It should be here somewhere. Uh-oh, derailing the stream because I don't know where my glass is. Where? I need a technical difficulties tone. Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna cut to the darkroom, I guess, for a sec. Where are my glass sheets? Those are what I need to clean. All right. Oh man, that darkroom looks as messy and as feral as ever. But I really wouldn't have it any other way. That's the true darkroom. I don't pretend like it's a clean and pristine place. Okay, here we go. Got my glass. This thing is really, really nasty. Somebody had mentioned in the Cyanotype video that the glass I was using before had like a bluish green cast. Bluish green doesn't necessarily mean it's going to block UV. It usually just means it's a soda lime glass. But regardless, I actually took that comment to heart and came in and tested the two different glasses that I have here in the darkroom, and I didn't see any difference in times from like a piece of cheap framing float glass and the other glass that was already in here. So I really appreciate those kind of comments, because if you do use something like really fancy archival UV or non-glare glass, that can affect your printing times. And a lesson I also learned the hard way with modern large format films, there are, well, I guess it's not films, it's just film. There is one film out there that does not make for good in-camera negatives, and that's Kodak T-Max 100. T-Max 100 actually has a UV blocking layer built into the emulsion. So if you get a really good T-Max 100 negative, you might not have something printable out of it. Actually, is my strudel negative like that? Oh, we're gonna see. All right. So we'll see how well it does today. All right, that glass is looking a little bit cleaner now. All right, yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Cool. All right. So we're getting that clean. All right, how's the chat looking? We got 90 folks. Are we gonna break double digits? Are we gonna hit triple digits today? This is crazy. It's a little scary. You bleach the blue off and tell them there's the moment you're sure you've lost your. Yes, I agree, Ed. It is a nerve-wracking process. Let's see. Oh man, so many questions. Let's go back. Peter had a question. Can you compare HD, its benefits versus others? So Peter, I'm just gonna give you like the 30-second pitch on PyroCat. It's a very traditional developer. It's super economical, but on the opposite side, it is commercial pesticide or commercial pesticide, insecticide. It is nasty stuff. You do not want to breathe in heavy amounts of it, or just have tons of exposure to it without proper ventilation. It can be super, super nasty stuff. And do the benefits of it outweigh the risks? I'm actually not even too sure at this point. The more film I go through, the less I feel like I need to depend on the properties of PyroCat. And those main properties are, it is a staining developer, and that staining developer masks some of the graininess, and it also gives you kind of a smoother tonal gradation, and usually you get a little bit better, some people say roll off in the highlights, but really you can almost not clip highlights in PyroCat, because it's kind of like, instead of just has a hard, that hard kind of shoulder at the top of your curve, it just kind of keeps going, and it's really nice. Some folks hate it because the out of camera like contrast is super, super flat, like flat as a pancake. That's great for really contrasty processes like alt process, but not so great for having something that generates like a straight print. I am not a firm believer in like the straight print, but it is cool to have dual purpose negatives. My PyroCat negatives scan decently. They print in silver okay, but alt process, when you get it right, that's where they shine. So I'm gonna take my strudel negative out now. Get him, all right, so that's emulsion side. So we're gonna do emulsion side down, also known as shiny side up. I'm gonna place him like this on there, and we're gonna drop him in. All right, drop him in right there. Again, this is my first exposure of the day. This is gonna be a tester. Let's see how he does. Hopefully that's enough weight. I've got stuff I can weigh it down with. All right. All right, so it's 2:30. Oh wow, it's already 2:30. Crap. Hopefully we'll have some more prints coming along. This will be like the longest test, and hopefully we'll have some more prints coming in along the way. Let's see. Is that Melanin X Halide? That's a pretty cool username. Besides eBay and KEH, what's a good place to find LF lenses? I would recommend mom and pop shops if you have the availability, but there are some used camera like dealers that have physical presence as well as online presence that I always recommend. Of course, I work at Midwest Photo, so I'm going to recommend Midwest Photo, www.mpex.com. You can also look at Used Photo Pro or Roberts. They're based out of Indianapolis. They have a great camera store, as well as Used Photo Pro, which is also them. They do a great job. There's Badger Graphic out in the Midwest. They do really good work, and there's Fred Newman's View Camera store. So there's still some folks that are dealing in large formats specifically, or more traditional traditional cameras and such. So I'd recommend looking there. eBay, if you do end up going that route, don't be afraid of buying from like a Japanese reseller. Typically, their like bargain or like unusable condition is better than some of like the condition you'll see on Facebook Marketplace where people are like, oh, it's a 9+ and the thing's like destroyed. So I always kind of recommend those. Let's see, how can I catch up to the chat here? Oh no, we're back down to 80. Matt Thompson, any info on toning Van Dyke browns, lead and selenium or gold? Honestly, I haven't done Van Dykes in almost a decade, so I'm not going to be a good source on that. And the only things I toned with were selenium when I did do Van Dyke. I did try toning, different toning with silver gelatin like thiourea and what is it? What's thiourea go to? That turns it into the, I'll remember it. But yeah, any of those really nasty smelling toners, I usually ended up going with selenium just because it was what I knew and I kind of liked that darker purplish kind of tone. All right. Have we caught up? All right. Oh, Peter, yeah, Caffeinol is great, especially in large format. You know, the larger your film size gets, the less you can kind of like weigh in on the benefits or the downsides of grainy developers. So traditionally super grainy developers like Rodinol and Caffeinol look great in large format because you're not enlarging as much. If you pixel peep anything at 100 or 200%, you're not going to be happy with what you get, and you're probably going to keep upgrading your stuff ad infinitum. If you just kind of enjoy the process and know what it is about and kind of use it to its strengths. So 35 strengths are that it's mobile and it captures action. Large format strengths are that it's big and you can make big prints and stuff from it. I think that's, you'll enjoy it a little bit more. All right. Max asks, will I make a video on salt printing? Maybe. You gotta have content. So yeah, I'm probably gonna give it a shot at some point. Oh, Dev asked if we have a Discord server. Because I would be pretty much the primary mod, not currently, but you are not the first person to ask me about the server. So we'll keep that in mind. I know some folks have asked for a Patreon as well as a Discord server with a tier to get access to that, because that's how some other film tubers have done it. So it's not out of the question. I just got to figure out how to, do the thing. So it's an ever evolving process is what I'll leave it at. Carrie asks, I just heard that over 6 months Fixer is unusable. I know that manufacturers list shelf life for Fixer, but I've used Fixer that was unmixed and it was much, much older, but it was a non-standard Fixer. It was a more modern thiosulfate Fixer like TF, which one did I use? I think it was TF5 that I used. And really, I hope it doesn't die after 6 months because some of the raw chemicals that I mix things with are decades old. Yeah, I think I have a few bottles that are literal decades old of the component chemicals, and they last a long, long time. So I think that's kind of like take it with a grain of salt. But once you've mixed it and once you have some of that silver from film in there, I think kind of like the working time once it's mixed up and you already have some silver in there, I think that's what they're quoting you on more than anything else. Cool. All right. Awesome. Oh yeah, we are all caught up and back to 90. All right, let's keep pushing. Get your friends in here with the live stream if they want to catch all process. Let's see if we can hit 100. That would be amazing. All right, I'm going to go back into the darkroom and start coding. We have to double task some of this stuff. All right. What I'm also going to do, just to kind of hedge my bets a bit, I don't think we're going to need to double coat. These look really good. Let's coat our last torn one. I guess I should check and see how many memberships there are. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe this was too good an offer and I'm going to have to be in here for like the next week and a half making prints. Actually, I wouldn't hate that. That's my promise to you guys. So it's my bad if I promise too much. All right. Great. Got a dropper full. Is that looking okay? Yeah, I could shift it. Yeah, shift it right here. All right. Dropper full right there. Great. I can't make the slapping noise. It's not a good thick brush, but I'll do my best. All right. All right. Oh, you know what? I better get my baths going too. So after I'm done coating this one up, we'll start making some baths. Actually, I'm gonna commit a cardinal sin. I'm gonna stop in the middle of a coat, throw some gloves on so I can mix my baths when I'm done, because I want to jump right from one to another. All right. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Live streams are a ton of work to put on, but I am so glad that so many of you are taking time out of your Sunday. Sunday either at late morning, early afternoon, early evening, or late at night if you're over in Europe. So wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. It's just cool to see how many folks are out there. I just love that the more accessible this technology becomes, the more knowledge that's out there available for free to everybody, the more cool people get into this. Like, that's what I've always enjoyed about film photography. The vibe was always way different than just strictly digital. That's not to say there's not a few characters in the hobby, but for the most part, everybody I've run into in real life is super, super chill when it comes to large format. I think talking with people about something they have a lot of passion about, like film photography, like large format, is kind of like that meme of like the dogs barking at each other from on the fence. Like when there's that anonymity of the internet or that screen name to hide behind, people can get a little, a little mean-spirited toward each other, or they want to like guard their things because like you're coming after my livelihood. No, I just want to like know what you're doing. Overall, they're pretty cool in real life. A lot of folks are pretty chill in real life. I think the folks that are mean-spirited online typically don't show up to the real life stuff. And speaking of real life stuff, number 2 is in the arm there. So in a couple weeks, I'm going to be able to start to open things up, at least in the darkroom classes that we offer at Midwest Photo. And fingers crossed, that means we might be able to do a meetup or something here within 2021, which would be super duper exciting. I would love to do a meetup. I don't know if I could organize it though. I've organized meetups before. I know what goes into those. It makes a live stream look like nothing. But a meetup would be really, really cool. So again, I'm using increasingly gentler pressure with the brush here, just barely touching it. Now the paper, as it's getting wet, what's happening is it's bowing because it's dry. It's never going to dry like perfectly evenly from surface to surface. Usually what's going to happen is the edges are going to dry first because there's more like surface area in contact with the air. So that's why it's going to kind of bow and buckle like that. This isn't too bad. The cool thing about watercolor paper is if you screw it up, you can just wash it off. Now this stuff, this stains everywhere, but you can like rinse it and kind of re-dry it again. This stuff is not rinsing off of here unless I wash it off before exposing it. All right, here we go. Nice. Give me a hanger up. Oh man, all right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. So we got plenty of sheets coated to get us through the live stream here. All right, I go. If you didn't tune in to the Cyanotype video that we did on the channel a couple weeks ago, I'll give you just a quick recap of what we just did. We just coated with a part A and part B, which is this solution right here. I'm going to put this back in the dark. More than likely, I'm going to end up throwing that out because it's like too much excess. I'm not going to throw it out yet because I don't know if the single coat is going to do it or not. Always wipe down the stuff that the Cyanotype touches. Don't wear your best clothes because if those get stained, they're going to stay stained. So I guess what you could do is coat something with Cyanotype and like make a cool shirt. I guess that's like the film photographer's tie-dye, if you will. All right, I'm going to put my tray back down under here. And I'm going to get some baths ready. I'm going to get a water bath going, and I'm also going to get an acid bath going. And the acid bath is going to be my quote-unquote developer. Alt processes, some alt processes don't actually need an active chemical development step. Cyanotype is one of those. It's a POP or printout process print. So you're actually going to see right before I put the strudel print into the rinse or the developer, it's going to already look like a print on there because that exposure is hardening and kind of transforming that that solution into, it's depositing like iron, metal on the paper, and it's kind of sitting in the grains of the paper, and then we're just going to be rinsing out the stuff that the negative masked over, and that's going to give us our image. One thing that can help us with contrast in the image is the presence or absence of acid in there. And we can add acid a couple different ways. We can do it with our vinegar. And as I did in the last episode, if you got some stuff that lasts pretty much forever, I've got some glacial acetic acid. This is just like super strong vinegar. I'm going to dilute this way far down to fill my tray. So turn some water on. Sorry about the audio. Get some water going in here and get another, just a standard water wash after that. And I'm going to get, I got a little guy. Oh no, that's not my little, oh, you know what? That's fine. I'll use this little graduate here. I'll get my glacial acetic acid measured out. I only need 10 milliliters. All right. And now I'm going to smell like vinegar for the rest of the day. Ooh, that is a strong smell. Now, normally what I would have going on here, and I am only doing this for the sake of television or broadcasting to you guys, I always recommend in a darkroom space to use adequate ventilation. I do have the door open, which has some airflow, and there is a large area fan going on the opposite side of the hallway. But in order to be as safe as possible, if you're in an enclosed space, especially like a bathroom by yourself, you want to have really good ventilation. This darkroom does have a great ventilation fan, but if I turn it on, it's not going to make for great audio. Anyway, yeah, so you kind of hear what's going on with that. That's what you want to have on when you're doing this by yourself. I am taking on a little bit of that risk again, so I can show you guys live what's happening. Ordinarily though, you want to have that good ventilation going on. And because I touched that glacial acetic acid, I'm going to heavily rinse that out. I'm going to remove this set of gloves. I'm probably going to be pouring through gloves today. We're going to head over and see how the chat's doing. Alrighty. Okay. 93, we're getting there, guys. Come on, you can hit 100. I almost feel like putting out a special offer in case we hit 100, but I don't know if I would be able to fulfill that, so I'm not going to make any promises. How are we doing on the questions? Awesome. Chopper Oratone prints, those are gorgeous. I only ever saw one, and that was from a demonstration at the Javits Center during the PDN Photo Plus Expo, and it was being put on by one of the Patricks at the Freestyle photo booth. So if you guys don't know freestylephoto.biz, they are one of the biggest supporter of analog processes. They used to be one of the only ones where you could get the magazine to come out from. I don't know if they still do that or not, but they have an awesome selection. You see them at the major trade shows when those go on. And yeah, they just support all things alternative process and film photography. So really cool folks there. All right. Laura, thank you so much for modding. I super duper appreciate it. I might need to like elect mods. Ava's got a question. Do we mix Kimball's descent in A to B? Ava, good question. So typically A and B are used in a 1-to-1 ratio. I don't know why, what instances you would do it in a variance from that. I suppose you could do a more more aggressive. So like just more of A and B, but there is like a saturation point. There is only so much the paper can hold, and then you're just kind of like wasting money coating it on. With cyanotypes, it's inexpensive enough. I know it costs money, but it's inexpensive enough compared to some of the other processes. When you go to more expensive, higher risk processes like Cyanotypes, platinum palladium, or the like sodium platinum process, man, those get really pricey. You're literally like printing very expensive money. You're just like coding away your savings on those papers. So that's where you want to be like surgical precision. Everything is hammered out and you know exactly what negatives going into it, how things are going to do. I'm flying fast and loose because that's how I do with a lot of things, and it's cyanotype, so the risk is relatively low. Oh, perfect. I'm going to check on the lore questions, see how those are doing. David asks, are there any good backpacks you recommend? You know, bags, I never recommend buying a bag new. Like, I just don't. I work at a camera shop, so bags there's always a new bag. And the truth of the matter is there's never going to be the perfect bag, because then you wouldn't want to buy other bags. So buy a used bag. Buy one that's got a few miles on it. Years ago, F64 made some bags that work kind of decently. I almost broke my back carrying an 8x10 in the 8x10 backpack, but their 4x5 backpack is not bad. They make these little pouches which perfectly fit. I think it's 5 4x5 film holders. Those are great. But 4x5 is so versatile. You can kind of pack it in, you know, whatever brand, you know, mix of brands that you like. I like the old Low Pro bags, but again, I've never bought a camera bag for film photography new. Like, I just haven't. Only ever bought them used. Yes, it does help that I work at a mom and pop shop and I could see stuff roll in, but it's just definitely get one used. You don't want to pay that premium markup for something that there's all these other accessories and the price of film. So keep that overhead low. All right. All right, how's questions? 99. Oh my gosh, guys, we are so close. I don't know what we're gonna do to celebrate, but I am like celebration ready. Oh, you know what? It's print time. Let's get our print out of here. Man, all right, let's take a look. How's Mr. Strudel? All right, so in this case, the negative is insanely larger than this. Oh, you know what? Yeah, guys, we have a problem. Mr. Strudel here is printing very, very thin. I don't even know if it's gonna like even show. I might have to go to the other side. Yep, we got, I think we got T-Maxed, fam, but we're gonna take it into the other side and see how it develops out. Oh man, I didn't want to get T-Maxed. I thought about it. It didn't even occur until I was saying that sentence about the T-Max having its masking layer. And then it was like, of course it was gonna burn you. Oh well, it's fine. We're gonna roll with it. If I need to like just take a break and throw this outside, guys and gals, if you did become a sustaining member today on the stream, you are gonna get an alt process print. And if you desperately want a strudel print, we're gonna get you a strudel print. I may have to create a digital negative and do some extra magic to make it happen, but we're gonna make it happen because you're supporting the channel and I appreciate you. All right, let's go back down to the tray here. It's gonna get a little shaky for a sec. Actually, we're gonna jump the camera in a little bit. Hopefully the HDMI cable doesn't cut out. Okay, there we go. Yes, the tripod head should lock. All right, so we have our tray. That's got our little bit of acid in there. Hopefully we can see that. We have our Mr. Strudel. He's been exposed. I don't have a lot of hope for this, guys, because yeah, it's a T-Max negative, but whatever, we're going. Pop it in. Well, it's certainly blue. Maybe we're okay. Maybe. Again, I'm not holding out hope. I know what this acid does to it. You know what? He's looking okay. This Arches is actually doing pretty well. Now, one thing about developing out a cyanotype, you know what? We're rolling with this. Oh man, this looks good. All right, Mr. Strudel. He's so cute. Cute boy. All right. I am biased though. It is Strudel. All right. Strudel's 10 this year, guys. He has been with us for a minute. Now, one thing I have heard about Arches in its use for alternative process, why it is so darn popular. Arches does not need a lot of heavy treatment. That Fabrione Artistico that I was using does have a base buffering on there. So you do have to rinse that off or counteract that with an acid. You can do that by pre-coating with an acid wash or soaking the paper, then drying it and then recoating it. you know what? I'm not hating this. This is looking pretty good. Now, what you want to do rinsing wise is you want to have like gentle running water going on these prints for as long as it takes to get the yellow out. And the yellow in this case is right there in his strudely whiteness on his little dapples. So you know what? No, I'm liking that. 15 minutes. We are good on the 15 minutes. I'm just gonna start shotgunning some more prints. I should have another piece of glass somewhere so I can get these prints made so you guys can see it, Magic of Television style. What I'm probably gonna do is start running this under regular rinse water. So I've got this other tray here. And empty it out, and I'm just going to do like a very, very small trickle of water. Hopefully it doesn't contaminate my audio too badly. Just enough water pressure to overcome. There we go. Just a tiny little rinse, and we're going to head back out and make some more prints. You know what? I'm going to do something efficient and dry my hands a little bit. There we go. Oh, these look great. I am so glad these came out. Guys, just the setup of the live stream was nerve-wracking enough that I had no idea. This is the test. There was no pre-test prior to this stream. I just got insanely, insanely lucky. Oh no, how am I gonna do this? You know what, I'm gonna cut to our main shot so I can move the camera. Oh, Magic of Television, love it. Okay, got these two here. You know, I wonder if I can do two negatives at once. What if, where's that other piece of glass? Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, I just run two pieces of glass. Perfect. Or two prints on one big old piece of glass. You guys see me now? Hey, there we are. I got two more sheets, and we're gonna pop out two more strudel prints. Now the good news, Magic of Television here, is I have multiple strudel negatives. I did like 4 portraits of strudel just because he was being such a good boy and he was so darn cute. So not everybody's strudel print will be the same strudely doodliness. Everybody's going to get a slightly different strudel print. That's the other thing I love about alt process. It's a performance. This whole thing is a giant performance. And how it turns out is, yeah, it's going to be unique. These are going to be one-of-a-kind prints. And these are going to be mailed as postcards. For those of you just joining in, oh my gosh, we're at 100. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh, we have 100 subs on the channel, or on not subs. We have 100 people watching this right now. That is amazing. For those of you just tuning in, I'm printing cyanotypes. Now in the title, it said the word announcement because the announcement is I have memberships to the channel that are going on now too. And if you join the channel today, you are going to get one of the cyanotypes that I'm making, which I'm pretty hype about. All right, take my big hunky piece of glass here, slap it on top of these. Oh yeah, all right. How's our time looking? 2:53, okay, so someone in the chat's gonna have to remind me that, you know, I guess I could set a timer. Let me set a phone timer here. Oh my gosh, okay. There are some notifications on my phone right now. You guys are crazy. This is so cool. Oh my goodness. There's a couple of folks that took me up on this offer. I'm not gonna be able to stream the entire time to fulfill those prints, but thank you so much. This is crazy. Anyway, I gotta set this timer and then I'm gonna get to the chat. I promise. All right. I'm just gonna run a stopwatch. All right, cool. All right, let's check and see what's going on here. Do I got some questions? Okay, no new questions, at least that Lore has archived. Oh, I'm hearing another running water. Hopefully everything's going good in there. How are we going here? Oh, let's see, question. What's the best to use, sponge or brush to apply cyanotype? The foam brushes are great because you can get like 100 for 10 bucks. So they're really inexpensive. The downside about them is they don't have the brush, like the painterly kind of strokes to them. Some folks like to do things very clean, clinical, reproducible. Other folks like to make something like, you know, artisanal, one of a kind, kind of the crazy fly by the seat of your pants that I'm doing today. So just do whatever makes you feel good. But I will show you one kind of premium way to get those beautiful brush strokes. I won't be using that today because that brush is already contaminated with a different process's chemical. Let me go grab it real quick. Jump into the dark room here, check on our rinse. Oh, Mr. Strudel is rinsing out very, very nicely. Oh, these are looking great. I'm telling you, if you become a sustaining member, you can go to Marrash.com. I'll pull up the page for it. You go to Marrash.com, you're going to be able to join the channel for as little as $5 a month. And if you do that today, you're going to get these Strudel thank you cards. These are going to be sent out as postcards. All right. What was I doing? Oh, I'm getting my Hake brush. Okay. Ta-da. All right, there we go. Okay. So this is my Hake brush. It is a, oh no, it's got a little dust on here. Typically the bristles on this, oh, it is like, I think these are sable hairs. I'm actually not sure which, what type of hairs this particular brush uses, but this, I was turned onto this brush by an amazing platinum palladium printer. I first saw one of these brushes in use, I think it was actually like on a YouTube video, but after that, in real person, I watched photographer Carrick Kuklis. If you've never heard of Carrick, I'm gonna try to pull up his website and drop a link in the chat. But if you haven't seen Carrick's work, it's amazing. He's just God tier when it comes to alt process, and he makes platinum and gum over platinum just look like the easiest thing because he's just been doing it for so long. Amazing, amazing photographer. He's like good enough that when you go and look at the Hahnemühle Platinum Rag specific watercolor paper for platinum palladium, his picture is what's on it. So like he is the poster boy for platinum palladium. Let me see if I can find his work actually. Still holding at 100 folks, so thank you so much for tuning in. All right, it's Carrick Kuklis. I love sharing Carrick's work. If you haven't seen his stuff before, it's just so cool. Just does an amazing, amazing job with it. All right, actually, let me check and see. All right. Oh, Laura asked, did I bring Zill portraits? I did not bring any Zill portraits. Oh no, is Carrick's site down? Oh no. Oh, it's okay, because you can shop the Ansel frickin' Adams gallery and find his stuff. That's right, that's how good this dude is. He's got amazing, amazing work. So I'll drop the link to that in the chat so you guys can see Carrick. Yeah. Oh, David, he's such a cool dude. Love him. I haven't seen him in like 5 years or so since the last time I went to Photostock, which was I shouldn't say was. It's an annual photo conference hosted by Mr. Bill Schwab. I've dropped his name on the channel before and talked about his awesome YouTube channel, which you guys should go check out as well. But really, really cool stuff. Let's see. Max asked, have I ever tried litho printing? You just want me to try all the alt process, and I probably will, especially now that I have this. This was the key. I used to have access really quickly to, not quick, I just had really convenient access through the school I went to, University of Findlay. They had a plate burner there, and it was a Newark 40-1K, which is this amazing vacuum mercury arc monster of a UV print source. It printed everything in like 2 minutes flat. And it was like super cancer when you turned it on, like the whole room turned like this Hulk green. So you knew it was like scary stuff. The first time I printed there, I did not even think about how horrendously dangerous that UV that it was putting out was. And during just a 2-minute test exposure, it doesn't have any curtains or anything on it. I like burned my arms, and not like those normal sunburns where you're like, ooh, okay, it kind of hurts. It was like one of those sunburns where like you get like welts and like you get like skin kind of flaking off after a couple. It was nasty. Be careful with UV processes, guys. It's you know, if it's fast enough to print in less than 10 minutes in a process like this, you're gonna get sunburned if you're close to it or have open exposure. That's why I like being, you know, having like this little door here, just being far enough away from it. All right. Jesse says, just join the membership tier. If you don't, you're lame. Thank you very much and thank you if you already have joined the membership tier. Thank you so much. I I thought maybe, maybe one or two people will do this. And according to the notifications, there's more. So I'm making prints here today, guys. This is so freaking cool. Oh man, yes, Strudel is super cute and he knows it. That's the most dangerous part. He's cute and he knows it. Okay, for folks just tuning in, 115, we've hit this is a new high. I've never had that many people watching the live stream before, so this is so cool. So for folks that are just joining in, I have added some new stuff, some new features to the YouTube channel. So beyond just the standard large format Friday, if you want to show your support, again, this is completely optional. You don't have to pay anything to view all of the the previous and current season's content. I'm not going to be generating, at least not right now, I'm not going to be generating specialty content for sustaining members, but this is just a thank you live stream for people that have already subscribed or continue to subscribe. But if you do want to donate to the channel, I have now opened that up. I have also rented out a PO box. So for folks that do want to send things in for donations that I will then turn into giveaways, that's what I've opened up here. There's a QR code on the site. You can go there and that's just like a little PayPal thing. You can set up a recurring donation, or you can go to the memberships tab, which is, let's see, marrash.com/memberships. And that's, come on. Why don't you pull it over? No, let's go over here. Yeah, like that. And marrash.com/memberships. There's little membership tiers that are previously set up for $1, $5, and $10. Anybody that signs up with the $5 membership or higher today, like today during this live stream, is going to qualify for one of these Strudel Cyanotypes. So you can think of it as you're paying 60 bucks for over the course of a year for a one-of-a-kind cyanotype print, which is already a pretty decent deal, but it's also keeping this kind of crazy orchestrated content going. So if you like what you're seeing today and you want to see stuff like this continue, that's what it's here for. So thank you so much for folks who have already done so. Oh man, we're already 8 minutes in. Oh my gosh. Guys, you need to stop this. These notifications are blowing up my phone right now. I think my phone is going to die from these notifications. This is crazy. This is so crazy to see. Wow. So Ed, if you want to get that postcard, you can just go to marrash.com under the so marrash.com. Actually, I'll drop it in the. What am I doing? Yeah, I have a computer right here. I should just put the link in the chat. Memberships. Okay. So if you just go to that link in the chat, that will that'll take you to where you can sign up. So it is going to be today. I am going to extend it like a smidge after everything ends here. I don't know how long. I was planning on going 2 hours, but we'll see how batteries and things hold out. One thing I had in the back of my head when before I even decided I was going to go crazy and do the darkroom, I was like, you know what? Let's do a subscriber stream 1 second for every subscriber. So 7,000 subs, that's a little over 2 hours. So I want to see if I can keep that going. That'd be really, really cool. Plus you guys will be able to see more cool Strudel prints. Lauren, no, we need that phone. Oh man. Let's see. Charlie asks, do you have a portable wet plate method to hike in the mountains with a 5x4? Hiking with a 4x5 is not that bad. You know what? Actually, it might still be here. So years ago, my in-laws surprised me for Christmas with a crazy setup. And this was a long time ago because this was 2012 when I was just getting into wet plate. And I never really took that bigger leap into wet plate collodion. A lot of folks just kind of stove right in. I got some pretty poor results. And as you can see from the amount of precision I don't put into things here on the live stream, it didn't bode well for my eventual large format failures in wet plate. So I didn't continue with it. But there are portable dark boxes. There are portable dark tents. I know a lot of folks like using those Eskimo. I think that's the brand is Eskimo tents, but there are these pop-up fishing tents, and you can make a darkroom space in there. You kind of have to modify them and cut out and put a red window so the light that's coming in is then not harming for exposure. But those are really popular for it. But yeah, to hike in the mountains with that, probably for some good inspiration on that. A photographer who recently passed away, unfortunately. There's really good video content out there of photographer Will Dunaway, and he's hiking out, doing a little bit of hiking, but kind of going Ansel Adams style. And you'll see him out in Yosemite and such, making amazing wet plate collodion landscape photos. So look up Will Dunaway's work. He's rest in peace, but fantastic photographer. Laura's asking, don't you have a darkroom timer? I do, but it's all the way on the other side, and I have to switch cameras, and I am flying by the seat of my pants here, guys. So yeah, let's see how we're doing. Timer says, okay, timer is looking, we've got a few minutes to go. I'm gonna hop into our first strudel print and see how he's doing. Hopefully Mr. Strudel is rinsed. Oh yeah, okay. So here's what we're looking at, guys. You see how most of that yellow has subsided? Oh my God, he looks so cute on camera. I am biased though. All right, so what we're gonna do, this would be fine to hang up to dry right now, but we gotta do some more magic at television. So I wanna show you guys one other thing that you can do to really make that print just kind of pop. So what this is doing, this isn't, you know, I mean, it is kind of witchcraft, but it's nothing that's, we're not doing anything extra special to the print per se. We are more or less accelerating the rate at which the reaction that's going to darken, just darken the blues in here. We're going to accelerate the pace at which that happens. And we can do that by adding just some simple household hydrogen peroxide. No need for any special special dilutions or really like, you know, premium versions of it. But we're going to need about 20, 30 mils. And this is a 5% solution, I believe. Yeah, 5% solution. This stuff was on sale. It's only $2. And I got a 10-foot long receipt because I got it from Walgreens. All right. So what I'm going to do, see if I can like cheat this for the camera a little bit. So I'm going to pour my hydrogen peroxide in here. And what we should see, and if you're really impatient, you can just like kind of spritz the print with it. But you can already see he's, Mr. Strudel is, the blues are darkening. And what it does is it gives you more perceived contrast. But again, it's not, it's just hastening the process that would take place over the next day, week, month. But I do want to hasten this so I can get prints out to you guys. Again, thank you so much for people who have become sustaining members during the stream. This is my special treat to you. I wanted to do like a postcard print sale, and I still might later on in the channel when I have the ability to make more like silver gelatin prints and stuff. But I just wanted to do something special. This has turned out surprisingly well, so I'm just going to keep rolling with it. So there's Mr. Strudel. He's first one in the hopper, and it's almost ready to hang. Oh, I thought I had my work cut out for me before the stream started. Maybe I should have upped the offer. Maybe I should have made it more expensive, but whatever. It's too late. It's happening. We're doing this. All right, we're going to switch out to our first shot. Let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, I agree, Laura. Postcard print sale is going to bankrupt my free time. Let's see. Strudel Gang Unite. Perfect. Oh, I see Tariq in the chat. There you are, buddy. Welcome. This is just insane craziness. All right, we're almost there, guys. We've got about 40 seconds to go. I'm going to throw some more gloves on so we can dev out that that next print, the next Strudely prints. Where did all my gloves go? Did I already go through them all? No, there they are. Okay. I'm going to toss a bunch in my pocket here. Oops. Uh-oh. Don't kill your microphone, Matt. All right, there we go. All right, got some extra gloves. Sorry for the dead time on the video feed chat. Okay. Perfect. Yes, everybody, if you don't know, my good buddy Tariq just dropped into the chat. He's kind of one of the best like living photographers I know, and I have the benefit of being friends with him and just getting to see how he does what he does, and just an amazing human being, and also just a fantastic photographer. You will be seeing more of Tariq on the channel. I don't want to say coming soon, but like within season 3 of LFF, you're going to see Tariq again, and it's going to be a good one. So, all right, we are at time, so we're going to take out those next 2 prints and see how they look. All right, glass off. Now, sometimes you might see sometimes you might see the negative stick a little bit. I find this happens a lot more with thicker emulsions, especially like gelatin emulsions from like carbon printing, but nothing too big to worry about with the Cyanotype because of the tooth of the paper. So these are the two that we just exposed. And you know what? I'm going to do something smart. I'm going to shotgun some prints. So I'm going to turn these over so I don't get extra, and I'm going to start exposing. Let's make sure these turn out first. Let's head into the darkroom. All right. Ooh, here we go. Got 2 more strudels. Gonna take this strudel I'm probably just gonna leave it in this holding tray for a little bit. I'm gonna shift this tray over. And sorry guys, this camera has IBIS. It's probably not too bad. I'm gonna see how these look. All right. We're gonna slow roll it. We're gonna do one at a time. Okay. Yes, strudel postcards, everybody. Yeah. All right. If you want to get yourself a strudel postcard and you are just now tuning in, you can go to marrash.com/memberships. And any sustaining member at the $5 amount or over is going to get a one-of-a-kind strudel postcard, maybe even the one that you saw printed today on the show. So yeah, that's going to be kind of cool. If you're tuning in after the fact, don't fret. I'm probably going to be making more strudel postcards than I know what to do with. So just because these are so cute, I might just give these to like family members and other dachshund appreciators. All right, I'm going to get the other one going in here. Just watch the magic, guys. There it goes. He's going, actually, here. Should be smart about this. Bring him in. There he is. All right. Now, it's very tempting to like just want to shake it and I just want to see the final print. But you don't want to be too aggressive with it unless this paper is like bone dry or really, really heavy duty. So a tiny lift and a tiny drop is plenty. You don't need to go crazy with this. While these are developing out though, we're going to do something smart. I'm going to dip or wash my fingers off. I'm going to dry my hands, and I'm going to re-expose some more prints because you guys just keep becoming members of the channel. And I guess that was the goal, but man, you guys are surprising me today. All right, 2 more sheets. I'm going to head out and start this. Ooh, this one might be a little bit larger than postcard size. Hope I don't get dinged too hard at the post office for these. Oh well, I already promised I was going to do it. Okay, so I got 2 more. Open back up. Lay down my papers. Make sure if there's any big like pieces of schmutz on here, don't worry about it. It's all part of the process. Now, if this is something where you just coated like $30 in metal, like platinum, yeah, worry about it a little bit. Just be careful during the coating process. Oh, you know what? Maybe the reason these are T-Max 100 negatives. If you're just tuning in, you're like, wow, is he always this random and crazy? The answer is yes. But earlier, I was kind of like talking my way into existential dread about these prints because these particular prints are being made with negatives that were T-Max 100. And new T-Max 100 has a UV blocking layer in it, which makes alternative photographic process printing not impossible, but very, very, very hard to do. It effectively adds like neutral density to the process. It helps you make beautiful silver gelatin negatives out in nature, but it makes alt process printing very, very hard without scanning and generating a different type of negative. All right, reset, 15 minutes, here we go. Whew. But I think the reason, back to train of thought, I think the reason these are printing out pretty well though, is because this is expired T-Max from the early 2000s, prior to the UV blocking layer being added. So, I mean, whatever's happening, great, because we're getting strudel prints live, and I really should have tested this stuff before I started, but I didn't. How's the chat looking here? Guys, if you are asking questions, guys and gals, if you're asking questions in the chat, I'm doing my best to catch up to those, but I'm also juggling this other stuff right now. All right, let's check what the lore questions are. Sarah asks, hey, when you explain the technical things, can you give a little one-line history lesson for the what you're about to talk about? I'm lost. Oh, okay. Sarah, thanks. Yes, I will do my best on this. So kind of like big picture, what are we doing today? Live, I am printing I'm doing a print process called Cyanotype. And Cyanotype, well, Cyanotype, it's like a blueprint. It's very similar to how blueprints are made. It's an alternative photographic process, meaning it is a process that does not use silver metal deposited in a gelatin emulsion on paper. We're hand coating paper. So those yellow sheets earlier on the live stream, I hand coated those, and those were giving me kind of this yellow greenish film. When those get the right amount of ultraviolet or UV exposure, they're going to create a bluish, a faint blue positive. And then when I wash out the remaining unexposed areas from my negative in contact with it, it's going to give me a positive print. So I'm taking a large format negative. So large formats, usually just big old sheets of film. These are very large 8x10 sheets of film because on top of being normal crazy, I'm extra crazy and shoot 8x10 inch pieces of film. That doesn't matter too much for my prints because I'm making postcard prints, and these postcard prints are as thank yous for anybody that right now on the stream is becoming a sustaining member. Man, I didn't want this to sound like an NPR PBS fundraiser drive, but it is exactly that right now. The only thing I don't have is like my great aunts like in a row back here with like operators are standing by. There's nobody standing by. There's Laura on the other side of the computer probably ripping her hair out because I said, hey, do you want to be a mod for this? And she agreed. All right, let's see what the other questions are looking like here. Yeah, we got time for questions. Oh, the people are asking for Tariq's Instagram. I'm gonna drop a link to Tariq's stuff because he's an amazing human being and he deserves all of the likes and loves from everybody here. No, don't force me to log in. I'm an old man and I don't have an Instagram, but Tariq's got an Instagram and y'all should dig it. Instagram.com/Tariq Terry. Okay. So Instagram.com/Tariq Terry. All right, there's Tariq's IG. So go check him out. Love on his stuff. A vast majority of the stuff showing up in his feed is shot with 4x5. If it looks like too good to be true, it's because he's just a master of light. That's his thing. Like the way that we normally like effortlessly breathe and interact with each other, he's that way with lighting. So check him out. All right, let's check some questions while we're in here. Also, thanks everybody. If I haven't acknowledged you for stopping by, thank you so much for stopping by. This is wild and beyond any expectations I ever had for today's stream. So thank you so much. Oh yeah, Chopper, thanks for mentioning Quinn Jacobson. He's like OG when it comes to new wet plate collodion process photographers. So great one to recommend. All right. Oh, Johnny, I am definitely, so actually, on top of all the other crazy tech that's going on, I am recording a slightly higher quality version of this. So if there are any like hiccups or pops or stutters, hopefully the archived version will look a little bit cleaner. I will have to go to my computer and halfway kill it to resize it, but we're gonna have an archived copy of this up so people can see. Oh, Ashley says in the UK, cost of shipping might be crazy. International postcards aren't terribly expensive. That's why I need to make sure they're the right exact postcard dimensions. So don't worry about it. This is my thank you to you for supporting the channel, being here, and just like experiencing this. I want to reward people I want to reward loyalty to the channel, but I don't want to like tier access, right? Like I don't want to withhold information, but I do want to thank the people that bother to show up. Like that's the whole thing for me. And I don't think there should ever be a price tag on the core information, but you know, special benefits for people that have been there since the beginning or like are showing their active support. So thank you. Don't worry about what that shipping is going to be, but thank you. All right. So Chopper asks, how How do you protect the negative while printing? Good question. I'm not protecting the negative. The best thing you can do to protect a negative when you're printing alternative photographic process is to make sure the media that you're sandwiching it to is completely bone dry. The only time I've ever had a problem with this is when I hurried too much. So if you get in a big hurry, this can be a problem. Speaking of hurries, I had to go check on the darkroom prints. There is one print process that I did have problems with. Oh, for folks just tuning in, these are my strudel prints. They've been developing now in acid for a bit. Uh-oh, this camera too is dying because it is my mirrorless camera, but I am prepared. I have extra batteries, so I'm gonna have to change the battery out here momentarily. Get some water going. I just need a slow moving water bath. So we're exposing 2 more like these right now. So these are developed cyanotype prints. And we're just doing a long rinse until the slight yellowish cast. We want this area to match this area. So we're just rinsing until most of the yellow's gone. And then we're gonna pop it into a H2O2 or hydrogen peroxide bath to give us a final beautiful Mr. Strood. Okay. That rinse is a little too aggressive. Just a tiny amount is all we need. I even just like the blue color that this bath is. It looks great. All right, I gotta dry my hands so I can start touching power cables and etc. While I'm doing that little standby, I am gonna shamelessly self-promote. I'm gonna plug the promotion that we're doing today. So if you do want a strudel print that you saw printed today on the channel, you can become a sustaining member of the channel today. You can go to marrash.com/memberships, and that is going to, at the $5 level, unlock the prints you see me making today. And I anticipate I'm going to be making these for quite a ways beyond today's stream, but that's okay. That's later me's problem, not right now me's problem. All right, where is there's my extra battery. All right. Sorry for the running water noises. Gotta try to keep down all that extra noise. So I'm just replacing a battery in my camera. It's honestly amazing, guys, that we have camera and battery technology that's good enough that it lasts during this time. All right, I need to find, where's my Fujifilm Charger? Fujifilm Charger, where are you? There we go. All right. Ooh, my big battery's good, and that's a good thing. You know, I actually do have emergency power for tethering my camera if it needs to come to that, but I don't think it will need to come to that. I think we're gonna be good. Okay, whew, we're back. Sorry if that was a little too long on the shameless self-promo. All right, how are we doing in the chat? Let's see, Sean, Ashley, thank you so much for the membership. I appreciate it. Speaking of protecting negatives, what's the best way to store modern and older nitrate negatives? So there's a lot of different storage sleeves that are out there and available. These are just newer style protective sleeves. They are frosted glassines. I like the ones that have the book form opening so they're easy to load. I actually prefer the frosted ones because they help me kind of see the difference between the film rebate, the area that's unexposed completely, and the area that's developed out. So it helps me see that film base plus fog areas of the film. But I used to really like the paper ones too. So paper glassines or paper glassines, I think they're called. There were wax versions, and there's the ones that are just the paper. You could just use like an acid-free archival paper to store them in and just use them as interleaving sheets. It is helpful when you have more area touching the film and kind of have it blocked off from regular circulating air or regular ultraviolet light. Best thing you can do for film, keep it cool, keep it dark, and keep it in something acid-free. That's the biggest thing. Older sleeves tended to have have some sort of adhesives or glue or just a different type of plastic which would react and kind of darken over time. Think of it like when you look at really old electronics, especially those from like the 70s and 80s, or like your old Nintendo, how it got like really nasty from just the air and you know, human contact over time. Your sleeves will do that too, but as long as it's in something, it's not going to harm the original negative. If you're dealing with something like a nitrate film or pre-safety film era, those films are pretty dangerous because any sort of spark could set them off. So films that are, I think it's pre-World War II, maybe even like late 20s, 30s, those are nitrate-based films. I've actually worked with nitrate films before and had to develop out, or not develop out, but I had some film and I wanted to make prints from that film. It was really, really nerve-wracking because I was like, oh my gosh, this film could just combust. But if you treat everything nicely, you put it in proper plastic sleeving, you wear gloves, you keep away handheld static the whole time you're working with it, you shouldn't have to worry. But you can't let nitrate films get too hot or in contact with a lot of static electricity. Almost treat it like you're building a computer, for you tech nerds out there. All right, timing wise, we got 3 minutes left. Questions, let's see. Oh yeah, Laura, good job with the answer. Yeah, you got it right. I have a lot of sleeves. I think all photography has hidden costs, but one of the benefits and simultaneous downsides of film photography is your living archive. Digital photography already has that downside of, oh, you got to back things up. Well, your backup in film is a physical burden. It's a negative. Each negative has thickness and weight, and you just have to ask our stream mod Lore what she thinks of all of those drawers and cabinets of negatives. We're at the point I don't even have enough drawers for what I have shot over my lifetime. I can't imagine. There's going to be a series. I don't know if it's going to make season 3 or if it's going to be season 4 or later at this point. But upcoming in LFF, we're going to have a series on organization of large format, because I am wildly unorganized, but I still have some layers of organization so I don't become a large format hoarder and I'm able to find negatives. So stay tuned for those. All right. Could I duplicate the negative on some process film? Absolutely, I could. I just wanted to make some one-of-a-kind negatives, and all of these are around the same density, or like kind of exposure and development density, because they were shot with off-camera flash or studio lighting. So I'm not too worried. You know, one of the cool things is they're one of a kind, and this is just going to make them even more one of a kind than they already are. All right. Laura's like, check time. There's a running joke in some of my other non-photography circles with Lore. We have this DM or dungeon master. Yes, I'm also one of those kind of nerds. And whenever she was DMing a session, she would have an alarm off that says, check cat water. And that just reminded me, check cat water, as soon as I heard that. Let's see. Oh, Sean. Buffered versus unbuffered. I believe you want unbuffered sleeves because most buffering is acid buffering, and you want acid free, so non-buffered. You want it to be as natural a fiber as possible for sleeving. Yes, here's a reminder, check cat water. Let's see, gentleman with the incredibly Russian username, top 3, nice beginner cheap 4x5 lens. Nice beginner cheap. Pick 2, just because nice and cheap. You know, no, you can probably get all 3. I would recommend a 90, a 150, a 90, a 150, and a 210. That's like the classic recommendation. But if you want cheap, you could go with like a 135 Optar. So that's a 135 millimeter f4.7 Optar. They were like Graflex lenses. You could also go with a 90 millimeter Schneider Angulon lens. That's a 90 millimeter f6.8. It's a teeny tiny little adorable lens. Those are great. And for a 210, you could just go with like anything relatively inexpensive. Schneider Simar S, like a Fujinon W, Nikkor 210 5.6. All of those are going to be between $200 and $300, great things to start with. But you should also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and go back to season 1 of Large Format Friday. I believe it's episode 5 where we talk about large format lenses and focal lengths and kind of figure out which one you want from there. All right. Oh my gosh. Prince. All right. Hopefully that wasn't like too much overexposure or anything. All right. So there's been so much heat that the negatives have almost stuck. Ah, there we go. Have almost stuck to the glass. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look at our strudely prints. Oh yes, we're strudling. All right, reminder, don't sit back down. Oh, whoops, that camera's not up. All right, I'm gonna pan to the Shameless Self promo just for a sec while I bring up my extra camera. Okay, extra camera's up. There we go. Okay, now we can see the dark room. All right, I got my strudely prints right here. Those are nice and exposified. Let's take a look at our prints that have been rinsing. If you're just tuning in, guys, we are live explaining, printing, developing, and washing out cyanotype prints, which are these amazing alternative photographic process prints. And I'm making these little Mr. Strudel cyanotypes. Now, this might seem like a waste because I'm taking this big 8x10" negative and making a little postcard size print, but they're postcard size because if you become a sustaining member of the large format, the Large Format Friday family, you are going, and you do it today at the $5 level or above, you are going to get yourself a Strudel postcard. And it might be the one you see right here. All right, enough shameless self plugs. Let's get some prints going. All right, turning my tray. This tray right here, the one that has the beautiful blue glow to it, has a little bit of acid in it to kind of help our contrast, and that acid is being provided by a 1% solution of glacial acetic acid, which if you think about it, you can think about it like super, super strong vinegar. This is pure acetic acid, and we dilute it down to 1%, or we could just add, household vinegar. You could use like an apple cider vinegar or red wine vinegar, but you might incur staining with the colored vinegars. All right, we're going to pop our strudel prints in, just gently push them down. We don't want to be too rough during the development process. Oh, look at them come in. So you can see it just kind of instantly pops a little bit. And some of that blue, which is really the leftover sensitizer, so areas that look light or yellow right now, those are being pulled off by the acid and water combination. You kind of see it billowing out a little bit. And we just want to let that happen for a minute or two. And then we're going to put it into the water wash. And then actually, while these are going, I'm going to shift these. Oh, I'm going to shift some trays around, do a little shimmy. And we're going to get to the hydrogen peroxide portion of these prints here. Just give my tray a little bit of a rock. You don't want to be too aggressive, especially with papers that are, I think the smoother the paper, the gentler you have to be with the prints during development. I'm air quoting development because we're not really developing anything. This print is developing out as it exposes. We are simply washing away the unused sensitizer. And it's unused because the negative is blocking the ultraviolet light, and it's blocking it in proportion to how much silver is on the negative. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, okay, Matt, but I don't have a darkroom, I don't have large format, you don't have to have any of this to do large format. Okay, you need trays, you need access to water, you need a $4 bottle of vinegar. You do need that stuff. But you don't have to have a UV box like it's out there. You can use the sun. It's actually a beautiful enough day. I probably could use the sun. I may have to if you guys keep becoming members of the channel. Oh my God. I am in over my head at this point. But that's okay. It's for you guys. That's what today's live stream is about. All right, I'm gonna move these around a little bit. I'm gonna take my 2 strudels that are fresh, move them over. And actually I'm gonna take this one that's been rinsing. And I'm gonna hang this finished strudel up to dry. I have a feeling that's the first of many. All right, take this other tray. Now these 2 have been rinsing for 15-ish minutes. One looks like it's still a smidge yellow, but it's kind of like acceptably good at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave one in this tray, and this next step is optional. You don't need to do it. You can keep rinsing this out for another 20, 30 minutes and hang it to dry. And over the course of several days, several weeks, depending on where you live, the blue is going to, it's going to get darker and darker and just kind of sink in. If you can't wait and you're impatient like me, you can accelerate the process with a weak solution of hydrogen peroxide. I added about 30 mils in here, and it honestly didn't happen fast enough. I'm going to accelerate it a little bit more, 5 more mils or so. So untreated prints here, hydrogen peroxide here, and just watch what happens. This print in this tray is going to get a darker, more contrasty blue, and this one's going to stay really nice and light. Well, all we're doing is we're accelerating that, that oxidization that normally occurs over the days and weeks. But again, we can accelerate it with hydrogen peroxide. Oh, I'm so happy with how this is turning out. This is so much fun. Oh, I got to pay attention to my prints that are developing out. I'm going to give them another minute or so. While all this is happening, I'm going to start my next strudel prints. I've only got time for 2 more, and then I think I'm going to end the stream at that because otherwise I'd have to coat more paper. And I don't have more paper torn up right now, so that's kind of what we're going to do. All right, got my next 2 sheets here. Okay, got my last 2 that I coated. These are the ones that I coated right at the beginning of the live stream. Wow, so much has happened in the last hour and a half. I can't believe the response from everybody today. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for those of you who've become LFF members. This is a bit of a dream. This is so cool. I have wanted to do this kind of content for years. I mean, before LFF was rebooted, this was all stuff that I was like, man, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. And it's, you know, there's only so long you can like talk about something or like say, oh man, I wish X, until you just like have to do it. And that's kind of what today's about. Oh man. All right. Last 2. Start my timer. Okay. Oh, I didn't stop the old timer. Reset that. Okay. Got 15 minutes on the clock. All right. Do a brief check-in, and then we got to go back to our prints. Yes, Laura is absolutely correct. You are seeing peak me. I am a bundle of chaos, and I love that Lauren puts up with me throughout all of it. This is everyday me. This is completely unfiltered. Absolutely, Jose, absolutely. I will always take time for jokes and memes than doing the stuff that actually needs doing. Just ask Laura. I will, no matter what's happening, I will always have time to check my phone and laugh at a meme at the most inappropriate time ever. Cool. For those of you who are just stopping by, welcome to the stream. This is Large Format Live. This is Chaos Incarnate edition of Large Format Live. I came on to just make a simple announcement and say, hey, maybe I can print. And here we are. We are in full production mode because y'all are still blowing up my phone with notifications. There are, oh my God, how many strudel prints am I? All right, I'm gonna need a minute. How many people are doing this? Oh shit, okay. Uh-oh, I cussed now. I'm gonna get demonetized. Oh boy. Oh, that's a lot of strudel prints. I'm gonna have to make some strudel prints today. Wow, okay, all right, so maybe I'm just gonna be making strudel prints for the next 2 weeks. I don't know. This is my life now. This is so cool. All right. All right, actually, hold on, let's see my notifications. Oh, Jesse asked, can you use new 55 negatives for cyanotypes? Answer, absolutely. You should be able to use type 55 or new 55 negatives. New 55 is on, I think it's on like isn't it Atomic X or something? No, it's one of the like 50 to 100 speed negatives. It should be great for alt process. If you want to get into alternative process, oh, remember when I was like two segues ago when I was looking at prints? By the way, let's head in and I can talk while I'm looking at prints. So when I said you don't need a lot of this stuff to do cyanotype prints, you don't even need a large format camera to do alternative photographic process. You just need a way to make a negative which has the right amount of density. And by density, I mean the right amount of areas that are exposed enough, can block enough ultraviolet light to kind of form these highlights and shadows. You can simulate the look of a negative by making what's called a digital negative. Actually, what am I doing? I'm here in the darkroom. I have some digital negatives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this strudel print in the hydrogen peroxide so you can watch him get darker instantly. And these two I'm going to drain out. And I'm going to put some gently running water in here. This little curly Q is not working for me here. Nope. All right, I'm going to have to switch places. All right. Sexy blue strudel in the hydrogen peroxide right here, and still need to rinse out strudels in here. Okay. So those are going. I'm going to flip these. I'll flip one down. There we go. I have a digital negative somewhere here in the darkroom, so I'm going to grab it so everybody can take a look at a digital negative. And I may relocate to outside the darkroom so you guys can see a little bit better what that digital negative looks like. I actually got a lot of questions about this sort of thing during the Large Format Friday Cyanotype episode. So, all right. If you're just joining us now and you're seeing all this chaos, this is Large Format Live. I'm printing Cyanotypes live, as well as shamelessly self-promoting my new subscriber model that I just rolled out today. If you become a sustaining member at the $5 or up level, you are going to get one of these little 4x6-ish strudel cyanotype prints that you can see in the trays right there, which is pretty awesome. I'm talking about printing cyanotypes. It may be tempting. Don't go out and buy a large format camera just because you saw me take an 8x10 negative and make a print with it. I make this look, I don't even know if I make this look easy. I probably make this look anxiety inducing because I'm just a ball of chaos right now. But if you want to make something like this without spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on a large format setup, you just want to make a cool blue print, you can do that with a digital file. I'm not a purist when it comes to this. I don't really like that whole purist mentality, honestly. But when I started, you know, now I sound like an old man, but when I started over 10 years ago in large format, the only way to consistently produce good enough negatives for scanning, printing, silver printing, and alt process printing, like the cyanotypes, was to just dial in your process, take your time, waste a lot of film, buy a lot of old technology, and read a bunch of, you know, outdated books and make negatives work. And it is a process that is worth doing if this is where you plan on going. But if you just want a cool cyanotype print, you can make what's called a digital negative. And a digital negative is obtainable with an inkjet printer. That's all this was done with. This is some Pictorico OHP, which is a fantastic transparency material, which is relatively inexpensive. Some other companies like, I think, yeah, InkPress makes some. ProMaster, I think they just use InkPress, but they make some. There's a lot of different digital negative materials out there. It's not a completely transparent material because it can't be. It has to have like a receiving base for that ink on there. And this isn't a really great negative because it is more or less a step chart. So we have lighter densities all the way through heavier densities. And density, again, is just how opaque those parts of the negative are. So I can or can't see light coming through it. And the denser the areas are, turn into the lighter areas, just like in our strudel print here. So the denser areas of strudel, where more light from the studio strobe hit him, become lighter areas in the print and gives us a really nice positive. Okay. Yeah, I just might cut to the strudel cam so you guys can not see how stressed out I am by this. Oh my God. Oh, the notifications keep coming. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, sweet. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Where's the chat looking? How? Question from S. Schungel. Just start with 4x5. Why is the image circle coverage of LF lens influenced by the aperture? And does it grow or shrink when I stop the lens down? This is an excellent question. So image circle is and isn't influenced by aperture. The only reason aperture has an impact on image circle, so rolling it back, image circle is that circle of light that's projected by a large format lens. Every lens is, based on its design and what it was made for, casts a certain size circle. This is something we don't have to worry about in roll film formats because those are already predetermined by the manufacturers. It's all a standardized size. Well, processes like what I'm doing today predate that standardization. So you might have a lens that looks like it may cover the bigger piece of film, but it might not. So it's always helpful when you're looking up a large format lens to search the lens you're looking for, followed by the word data sheet, and that will tell you what the image circle is. So back to the question. Most large format lenses on that data sheet will tell you what the stated image circle is. And they'll usually say what that image circle is somewhere in the middle of the aperture range, typically between 16 and f16 and f32. Now, if those sound like high F numbers, well, that's large format. A lot of the pictures I'm taking, including this strudel negative, are shot at pretty high F numbers. This strudel print, even though it has very, very shallow depth of field, it's actually shot at like f22, I think. I may have to go back to the show notes, but pretty high F number. Anyway, the reason aperture affects image circle is on really fast large format lenses like those that are f5.6 and lower, the light coming in is kind of like the shape of the lens from those aperture blades may be cutting off that circle of projected light. So typically, as you stop down a large format lens to those middle of the road apertures, you're going to get more and more coverage. But it's really because you're not having the physical elements of the lens blocking that circle of light. It happens quite a bit more in ultra wide angle lenses where image circle becomes super critical. Things like 75 millimeter lenses on 4x5, 150 and 120 lenses on 8x10, those sort of things. Let's see. Somebody said, Matt, check the water. Oh no! It didn't hit the tray. All right, thanks, chat. It's fine. It could really just soak the whole time and be okay. Let's give it a little more water pressure. I didn't want to hurt the audio, and here I go. I'm just like, I'm punishing myself instead. All right. Those got time to rinse. I'm more worried about overexposure, but I appreciate you, chat, and I'm checking out. Oh my gosh, we're like still staying at 100 folks. This is mind-blowing. I think this is so cool. All right. Yes, Dev, it is a gift and a curse. I try to answer questions. That's the whole reason this is here. This is the reason I rebooted the channel. I want this information to be out there for you guys. Speaking of which, shameless self-plug, if you have a burning question and you don't want to wait for the mountain of emails, typically, Laura can back me up on this, most days trying to get that inbox down to less than 10 on large format questions at gmail.com is hard. If you want to have priority access to me question-wise, you can do so by becoming a sustaining member at the $10 level. $10 a month, you are going to get priority access to the inbox. I will answer your question in 24 hours. If too many people subscribe at this level, I don't know, maybe the number will go up, or like I'll give out my cell phone number. No, I won't do that. And ask anybody that has my cell phone number. I don't answer anyway. But yeah. Let's see. Stress relief for once in my life. Sorry, Laura. Oh my God. Let's see. Oh, hey, Ed. Good seeing you, man. All right. What do we got here question-wise? Is Laura? Okay, yeah, Laura's yelling at me in multiple forms of chat. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it. Oh my God. All right, let's see. Anybody else with questions? How are the questions looking? How's the exposure looking? How's my timer? We're still good. We got 3 minutes. Everybody, 3 minutes. So 3:52. All right. Hey, you know what? We're coming up to the tail end of Large Format Live. So I want to do a big recap. We've been doing the cyanotype processes, which is one of my favorite alternative photographic processes, not because of the tone. I actually didn't used to be a big fan of the tone, but I love how accessible it is. It's relatively inexpensive. You can buy pre-mixed kits. You can go to places like Bostic and Sullivan, Midwest Photo, Freestyle Photo, BH, Adora, any of the big resellers will have pre-mixed cyanotype kits. Photographer's Formulary is a lot of what they sell. You can go and buy those. Big old bottles of part A and part B, enough to make hundreds of prints. So I'm not going to pretend like what I'm offering is a super premium product, but it's a special thank you to people that are joining me right here, have been supporters of the channel, or wanted to become one today. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, hopefully you guys have gotten something out of this. I've gotten a few years off of my life from this due to the stress, but that's okay. This was really fun to put on. Let's see, how's everything looking? Uh-oh, my monitor just flashed. Oh, that's because my recorder is about to die. Oh, you know what? All right, I'm gonna see if I can, all right, I have to try some magic here. I'm gonna cut to, you guys can watch the beautifully calming, now rinsing tray. I'm going to stop recording with one source and get my battery going on the other. Hopefully that battery has enough juice to do it. So, oh man, all right. I'm going to, all right, cut my recording on that source. Oh man, my monitor is rip-roaring hot. Oh my goodness. I don't even know if I should plug that into an outlet. Woo. That is rough. I actually can't believe this completely ran on battery anyway. Pretty amazing that it did. All right, reboot my monitor. All right. Hey, Ed, in the chat, thanks for dropping Christina Anderson's book. She has some amazing, amazing resources for alternative photographic processes, and has a lot of heavy hitters. Oh no, is this oh no. Did I not hit my video file recovered? All right, recovery failed. All right, well, we may have to go with the YouTube archived version of this. My big old hard drive had a big old fail. So we'll see if I can recover it. I don't know if we can. Hopefully I can, but the show goes on. You guys are tuning in live are getting the best of it anyway. Let's see, any other questions that we're looking at? Oh, Dev, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you being here. Oh, David, good seeing you, man. All right. Oh, check the exposure. Aha, Laura, thank you so much. Our final exposure of the day has just ended. Those of you just tuning in and haven't seen it yet, we are exposing some cyanotypes. You can see there's a good amount of daylight behind me, but it's overcast. And throughout the day, I may have had varying exposures, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes all the way up to 30 minutes. Because I'm using a consistent LED UV light source, I can guarantee 15-minute times for cyanotypes, which isn't too bad. It's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest either. We'll switch to my inside camera so we can go in and develop out these cyanotype prints. Oh man, we have a production line and we're gonna need it because you guys keep becoming members of the channel. Okay, so where are we at? These are our prints that are mid-rinse. This is our print that just hit the hydrogen peroxide. So these two strudels need to get to a final rinse. So I'm gonna keep those in the tray for a bit longer. All right, this is what we want though. This is our developer tray. Oh man, if I get lost, I'm gonna have to ask the chat. Chat, what tray is this? We're doing good so far. All right, that's my developer tray. This is rinsing. Could be rinsing a little bit more. Okay, we're doing good. So this is a tray, if you're just tuning in, of acid. It's a 1% acetic acid solution diluted from pure acetic acid, also known as glacial acetic acid. Dangerous stuff. Just don't whiff it. keep good ventilation. I mentioned this at the beginning of the channel, or the beginning of the stream, but it's always worth mentioning. Use adequate ventilation. I am not turning on my mega fan. You can hear it running. I'm not turning that on only for the sake of like audio for you guys at home. But when you're doing this by yourself, just have good ventilation running. I'm dropping these into that weak acid and water solution. Gentle washing is all we need on these strudel prints. You don't want to manhandle these, especially if you have a smoother paper. That emulsion can slough off, and then we're in a bad way with our prints. Now, so far on the stream today, you saw me make 6 prints, or these are the last 2. So, or actually, no, I have made 7. Wait, did I make 7 prints today? I guess I did. There's 1 hanging up, and there's 6 in the trays here. Wow, 7 prints. There's more than 7 people that have that have become sustaining members. So I'm gonna be making more strudel prints, but that's fine. If that's the price I pay for people loving on the channel, that's fine by me. Okay, rinse these out. These need a couple more minutes in the wash. And from what I read on using the acid bath with cyanotype process, you can usually do it for about 10-20 prints. And I think the 10-20 prints figure is from using like 5x7 or 8x10 paper. So with these prints, I could probably make twice to 3 times as many, and I'd still be okay. So that's another thing to consider. All right, keep those in for a little bit longer to develop out. Let these final rinse ones rinse out a little bit more. These rinsers are almost ready for the hydrogen peroxide bath, which is our accelerator bath. So these are just the previous prints, and you can see the difference. These look greenish and these ones don't, and that's because the extra bit of sensitizer, that yellowing, hasn't been washed out. That usually takes about 10 to 20 minutes or so, or I guess 15, because that's when I last did these ones. Wow. You know what? I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to head out of the darkroom here. I'm going to take some final questions, pay some bills with some thank yous, and we're going to get out of here. So let's head back out to the front room. All right. Let's see. Oh, who is in the chat and who has got some questions and more reminders for check water? Okay, great. Felix, I've been following you for years through FPP. Just want to say hi and greetings from France. Hey, Felix, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. We're still at 100 people watching, and we are nearing the tail end of the stream. Thank you so much, everybody who has stopped by today. Yeah, I guess we are going to make this a 2-hour stream, which is perfect. That's like a good amount of time. Ed asks, what are my favorite papers to use for this process? I won't say just for Cyanotype, because my Cyanotype experience with it hasn't been great, but one of my favorite papers is Fabriano Artistico. I just love the thickness and the look of it, and they make different thicknesses of their watercolor hot press paper. I use the extra bright, so it's like super white paper. It's really nice and contrasty and gives back just enough light. I love using it for carbon printing. I love using it for cyanotype when treated properly, and platinum palladium, it needs a lot more heavy treatment, but it looks really, really clean. Dr. Dickinson 12, quick question. Are repurposed 4x5 plate folding cameras good for beginners? You know, that's a bit tricky. I find some of the old, like really old folding large format cameras, like those from like the 20s and 30s, they tend to have issues with integrated lenses with shutters if they're like that. And they can also have issues with like bellows. I like to recommend Graflex cameras just because they're a little bit more sturdily made and were made as recently as like the 60s, 70s, and they were like lifetime cameras. They were made for a long time. But there's a lot of great cameras out there. There's even brand new cameras like the Chroma Carbon Adventurer camera, the Intrepid cameras. I've got love-hate with certain things about the Intrepid series cameras, but they're great because they meet a price point. Very, very few times will you hear me on the channel recommending you buy any one thing in particular, but I always like to push people towards used gear. One of the reasons for that is this stuff's been going around for, like, large format has been around since the very dawn of photography. So there are going to be mass-made and custom-made solutions for just about everything. You can DIY it. You can make a camera with, I have a buddy that made a camera with like garbage bags, duct tape, and gaffer tape. So if there's a will, there's a way with large format, and you don't have to go broke doing it. But another side note to that is there are some aspects to large format photography or film photography in general that aren't exactly green. You know, we are using a plastic coated emulsion, which takes a lot of manpower, time, and precious resources to produce, wash, distribute. So you are massively increasing your carbon footprint when you use film photography. One way to help reduce that is to buy used whenever possible. When you're buying used, it's one less thing that needs to be produced new. So think about that when you are getting into it to try and kind of offset that side of things. Let's see. Oh, Ed asks, if you do the hot press Fabriano Artistico, there's not much texture to the paper at all. The Arches I'm using today has like a little bit of texture because it's a warm press, but it still looks pretty good. So I just mean texture by like the appearance of almost grain on the paper. I'm gonna cut to those prints real quick while I search for some more questions, and then we're gonna get on out of here. Chopper, top 3 print processes that are not highly toxic. There are versions of many popular alt processes that can be made non-toxic. The most toxic thing about many alt processes is the sensitizing agent. And typically the most like notorious ones are dichromates. Potassium dichromate, is it potassium? Yeah, but the dichromates are nasty. They're hardening agents. Those hardening agents are reactive to UV light, but they're also hardening agents that can do things like start to harden your cells and start the process that you know, eventually down the line becomes cancer. So you got to be careful with this stuff. Good precaution with gloves is one thing, but extra good precaution with good ventilation is a complete other. There are some versions of these processes that substitute other components for the dichromates. One of them are, I think they're the azides. Is it azides? I think so. But there are alternative sensitizing materials that may take more UV light or such to make it happen, but there are less toxic variations of those processes. And one way to kind of look into where things are going, a lot of these processes informed how we do things like screen printing, and screen printing has moved on to slightly less toxic processes as well. So there are more non-toxic forms, but you wanted a list of 3. My 3 favorite print processes: platinum palladium, carbon, and a really, really odd one, copper gravure. And copper gravure, I don't think there's a way to make it non-toxic. So if you want one that's non-toxic, gum bichromate. And the ones with the really heavy layers, those are awesome. You'll probably be seeing some version of all of those in the future of this channel. Even though it's not specifically large format, that's the name of the channel. It's Large Format Friday. That's where we're going with this. So kind of wrapping things up where we're at. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've made 7 cyanotype prints today. I'm going to need to make more because what I made a promise to folks earlier on the channel, I have this new thing for Large Format Friday. People who wanted a Patreon. This isn't quite Patreon, but it's an easier way for both of us to kind of set up a way to sustain the channel. So you can become a sustaining member by going to marrash.com/memberships. I'm going to put that in the chat. If you go there and join Large Format Friday at the $5 level or above, you are going to get, and you do it today, I'm actually going to open it up for, let's call it an hour from now. So once I end this live stream, you're going to have within the hour to go to marrash.com and become a sustaining member. If you do, you're going to get one of these postcard size strudel prints. I'm going to do my best to make sure they are postcards and they are mailable international. If we run into shipping issues, I'll shoot you a message, but I want to get a handwritten thank you note out as a special perk for people that are watching this and joining today. Also, if you join at the $10 per month level, you are going to get streamlined access for Q&A. So if you want to your question answered like it was on the live stream with pretty much instant turnaround, you're going to get that priority access. Normally, the large format questions at gmail.com inbox is very much full and very much nearing triple digits. And if you want to get that question answered the same day, $10 a month is all it costs for that. So thank you guys all again so much for stopping by. This has been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot of things, but I've also been pleasantly surprised with things too. I'm going to get making some more prints. I'm going to try to calm my nerves. Maybe I had too much caffeine. I'm going to take a breather, get some food, and make some more prints. Thank you so much for those of you who have become sustaining members. If you liked what you saw today and you still haven't, go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. The channel, of course, is Large Format Friday. You can click the icon for this. If you're watching the archived version of this, I don't know, I might make enough prints that I do have some of these offered on the website as well for outright purchase. We'll see how things go. But if you're watching this in the archived version, hopefully you got something more detailed in the Cyanotype process that you can take away and apply to how you do things. This is something that if you like this kind of content, let me know. I love doing this sort of thing. It is a lot of work. It's a crazy amount of work. If I pan the camera in any which way, you would see all the cables. It's insane, but thank you so much. You guys are what make it worth it. We had over 100 folks for like an hour. That's crazy, and worldwide to boot. So thank you so much. If it's late at night, go to bed. Thank you so much for staying up and hanging out with me. If you're a subscribing member, thank you so much. I'm going to try and get those prints out as quickly as possible. I don't know if it's going to take a few days, probably on the order of a few weeks, but you are going to get those, and that's at the $5 a month level. So again, thank you so much. I'm going to try to get all my shout outs on the way out. Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for being a mod today. She is a saint for it. Steven, thank you. Crunchy Fingers, thank you. Peter, thank you. Ed, thank you. Ed Gately and Ed Gate, thank you. Dr. Dickinson, thank you. Ulrich, thank you, everybody. And we'll catch you next week on Large Format Friday.